Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's me, Mike Lepre, King Michael, here with LegitFantasyFootball.com. Let's go over it real quick. So, we've been doing really well with LegitFantasyFootball.com. If you're watching this video, I ask that you just you click the like button below, subscribe. Why is that a tough word for me? Subscribe. And, that way you'll be alerted of any new content we've got coming out. We've got content coming out of our nose. If you want to check our YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, meet us anywhere on there. Just look for Legit Fantasy Football, Facebook page, and then this YouTube channel. And then once of all, again, the website, legitfantasyfootball.com. Now that that's out of the way, today we're going to do something just a slightly bit different. I've done a couple of top 10s. Got some positive and some negative feedback, I'll be honest. But today, we're going to step outside the sports realm just once. And I'm going to do today's top 10 comedians alive and working today. Top 10 comedians alive and working today. Now, I know for a fact there's a bunch of guys that didn't make the list. The people are going to flip out over. But for the record, I'm taking Eddie Murphy, Jerry Seinfeld, and Jay Leno out of the equation. Not that I would put Jay Leno there, but just in general, those kind of guys, the Fallons, yeah, they've done stand-up, but push them aside. Eddie Murphy hasn't done it, and so Jerry Seinfeld does the same act. It's just push them to the side. It's working comedians in the opinion of Legit Fantasy Football today. Now, as I say these names, if you hear a comedian that you've never heard of, just wait till this is over. At least let me finish this, and then go check them out on YouTube. All right? I'm a huge comedian fan. It's what I fall asleep to. And here comes the top 10. Number 10, Joe Rogan. Now, Joe Rogan, was Joe Rogan. Fear Factor, News Radio. And then stand-up, he was, his podcast blew up. Okay, but the podcast aside, the last two specials that Joe's done on Netflix were really good. So I feel almost like through osmosis and from constantly practicing his craft, Rogan is finally at a point where he's a legit comedian. I know he would be furious if you heard that, because he'll say he's been a legit comedian all his life. He has. I'm just saying, somebody to put up in the top 10, I think he just recently made that jump. Number 9 is Jerry Gervais. Just because he's not afraid to say anything ever, especially in front of like celebrities and whatnot. And God knows I love that. Nothing's better than when you hold a mirror up, you know what I mean, to the rich and famous, and just let them know you understand what's going on. So he always wears black, I guess a little trim. And his sometimes the English accent, I'll be honest, I get caught up. I can't quite understand what's going on. Hilarious, though. Number 8, Bert Kreischer. Now, you got to know Bert. Bert is part of that whole group with all the other guys. His most famous bit was The Machine. If you've ever heard the bit, The Machine, if you've never heard it, you want to hear it, go type in Bert Kreischer with a K, The Machine. Just a really quick, it's a hilarious take on how when he was on a college trip for a Russian class that he couldn't speak, he ended up hanging out with the Russian mafia as opposed to his classmates. The Machine. Look him up. Number 7, Daniel Tosh. Now, Daniel Tosh does stand up and he does his show. But if you notice, he does nothing else. No interviews. He's never on a podcast. Nothing. And you know why? He doesn't have to. He's the first comedian, millionaire, that's like, I got my show. It's been on forever. I know that I'm overplayed in that sense. When I do my stand-ups, I've done, the last 2, huge success. I get into some controversy because he's controversial on purpose. But That's it. Shuts it down. He doesn't need that stuff. And that's the best way, I would think, to run a career. Just get in, get out. Bang, it'd be funny. All right, number 6, Anthony Jeselnik. First of all, he's absolutely hilarious. He's like a dark. If Daniel Tosh is dark as far as comedy, then Anthony Jeselnik kills him. It's like he just says stuff to shock people, and he's the classic of he'll set you up, and then the punchline was not where you thought he was going. Like he starts off one of the things like, it was a good day. I saw a baby in a car in the heat. He's like, so it was a good day. And then people are laughing, and he says something like, I'm not a monster. I try to help the baby. I threw a rock through the window. It didn't work. Window was down. And it's like, bang. I mean, much funnier than the way I just gave it to you, but it's just cadence. Masterful. So let's just recap the top 10 to 6. Rogan, Jared Gervais, Bert Kreischer, Daniel Tosh, Anthony Jeselnik. Number 5, Kevin Hart. People love Kevin Hart. Some people think he's a little bit corny. I love Kevin Hart. All right. I've watched Kevin Hart from back in the days. I'm lucky enough to be in the Northeast where we had the Opie and Anthony show that would be on the air, and you would get all these guys on the air. Kevin, Patrice, it was just great, which is great. So Kevin Hart, I've been really listening to for much longer than I thought. Back when he was on the Colin Quinn, that show he had where they just debated stuff. I forget what it was called on MTV, I think. But Kevin Hart, I mean, no one sells out arenas like him. He's money. Number 4. Now we're getting down to the top 4 comedians alive and doing their work today, as by legitfantasyfootball.com. Number 4, Tom Segura. Tom Segura makes me laugh like out loud. He's just got that sense of humor where he just doesn't care. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He says stuff, gets himself in trouble, doesn't care. Tom Segura, go look him up. Here we go, top 3. All right, so let's just do this one more time from 10 all the way to 4, and then we'll do the top 3. 10 from 10. Rogan, Jared Gervais, Bert Kreischer, Daniel Tosh, Anthony Jeselnik, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura. Now the top 3 comedians living today. Number 3, Louis C.K. Yeah, you haven't really heard of him, huh? Heard from him. There's been no specials ever since the whole, I guess, play with himself type controversy. And Louis has tried to come back, and he's got mixed results. Meaning, people laugh like crazy, but you would get one person in the crowd that just couldn't believe that he was getting back on stage after everything he did. Now, I don't agree what he did, if he did what he did. Not at all. That's a horrendous thing to do. But that has nothing to do with me ranking comedians. I'm judging them on their comedy. On their comedy. And Louis is hilarious. And Louis does go to those places that it's going to seem even creepier now, though, when he does it, because he talks about playing with himself all the time and stuff like that. So now reality just kind of got into his act. So I can't wait for his next special to come out. I hope that people stop trying to ruin his career and give the guy a break. All right, I said give him a break, probably made people angry. What I'm saying is let the guy pay his time. Let him pay his penance and let him come back. Let him do what he does. Louis C.K., number 3. Now the top 2 comedians in the world working today by legitfantasyfootball.com. This will be met. Hold on one second. Dunkin' Donuts sponsorship. Oh, by the way, I've spilled probably 12 this year. I do more than one a month because there's nothing to hold. This thing pops off with a barely ever touch, and the coffee will actually eat through the cup. I know it's bad for the environment, but if I had one wish, I'd bring styrofoam back. I prefer styrofoam. Just saying. Okay, top two comedians all time. Well, not of all time, my bad. Top two comedians right now. I will be doing a top 10 all time. That is coming up soon. Top two comedians working right now. People may disagree with me, but it's my countdown. Number two, Dave Chappelle. Yeah, number two, Dave Chappelle. Not number one, number two, Dave Chappelle. Why? All right. Dave Chappelle is hilarious. He's literally hilarious. Okay? Fact. Incredible comedian. Really good, really smart at breaking things down. Really good at it. However, he gets political, and that bleeds over. And then he does that special at that 8 minutes and whatever, however long it was, where the cop choked out that guy, Mr. Floyd. What I'm saying is, Chappelle is hilarious, but you never know when he's going to preach to you, a la Chris Rock, for a couple of minutes. So it's like, he's absolutely hilarious, but it's not all jokes. Maybe George Carlin-esque, but like, his version, but hilarious nonetheless. Top two, second best comedian as far as I'm concerned that you could listen to or watch today. But that's just my opinion. All right. So now, just to go back to one, starting at 10, Rogan, Jerry Gervais, Bert Kreischer, Daniel Tosh, Anthony Jeselnik, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, and the number one comedian working today, as ranked by legitfantasyfootball.com, Mr. Bill Burr. Why is Bill number one? Where do I start? First of all, Bill's Monday morning podcast, which is, he does it on Monday, and then he'll do it the Monday morning Thursday podcast, which is weird, but it's great. It's usually just him talking. He never had guests for years. No guests. It's just Bill checking in, talking. And to hear his mind unravel on things, and for him to be as honest as he is with his fans on a weekly basis, like, Bill's ticks, what's wrong with him. He's horrible at math. He's horrible at reading. I don't know if he's horrible at math, but I know he's horrible at reading. He's, I know he didn't do well in school from what he said. But here's the thing. Bill is a comedian at all times. Bill puts nothing before comedy. Nothing is before comedy. And that's how it's got to be. Like, he's a comedian's comedian. And I really mean that. Like, listen to all his stand-ups. He's got a negative, sarcastic, funny, Northeast approach. I guess that appeals to me. Bill grew up, I won't say we're in Mass, but it's probably maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes from where I live in Rhode Island. So when he talks about playing pond hockey as a kid and stuff like that, it's the same kind of childhood that I knew. Now, Bill would probably he's probably around the age of Brother Ray, maybe a little older, not more than 10 years for me, maybe. And I went to see him by myself at, this is a good story. I should finish with this one. So I went to, Bill is by far my favorite comedian, and he is the best working today. Go check out all the specials on Netflix. Just check him out on the Monday morning podcast. He's got the All Things Comedy Network. Just check Bill out. To end this, I'll give you my Bill Burr story. Just got a car that had the cameras to show you how to back up. So I ended up buying just one ticket to see Bill. It was near my birthday, near October or September of last year. And it was at Boston. I keep wanting to say the Boston Garden, but I don't know what they call it now, where the Celtics play. It was like Bill's dream to play there because that's like, that's his home team from where he lives. So it was weird. It was a stage in the middle of the whole thing, and they blocked off certain areas. And I ended up sitting between two people that just did not want to sit next to me because I was not giving up the arm things. And the big guy next to me, every time he kind of did one of these, I gave him another elbow back. Here's the reason why. I get there late. I pull into one of the parking lots to pay the guy. Guy tells me to back up. I back up. I go to get out. He goes, no, back up more. It's pitch black. I back up a little more. Crunch. I hit a car. I back into a car. I pull forward, look at the car. I put a dent in the car. I tell the guy, I'll just deal with them when I get back. Whatever. I walked to the show. Now, the whole time I'm thinking, I can't believe that I got to get out of this show and deal with people that I bumped their car. Like, you never know how that's going to go, right? Now, this is a completely true story. I always swear on all things legit fantasy football and sports. That makes sense. See the show. Bill was amazing. Hilarious. He really was. And it wasn't even any of his, any of the bits you've ever heard before. It wasn't even like when I saw the new special, there wasn't really much stuff he did that night that was in the new special. I almost kind of felt like he was just riffing and just playing with the crowd in the area because he just knew it so well, but still hilarious. Okay, show gets over. All right, I immediately go to, I got to deal with these people because I smashed their car mode. Now, I'm angry, okay? I go to get out. I follow everybody out. They block off half of the garden, so the one escalator to get out is blocked. So everybody's going to go one way. Now, when I say I was standing in the middle of what looked like a herd of like sheep or cows, just people, it was unbelievable. Like, I was so glad I was there by myself and I didn't have like my wife or my kids or anyone like that with me, because protecting them would have been very difficult. So I'm moving in this claustrophobic herd, wondering if I'm going to go forward, because I'm still not going forward. I'm just standing there. You know, I can see the escalators, I don't know, 15, 20 feet in front of me. Move a little bit. Hear a commotion to my right. And what I see is a couple of college kids, which I assume they're college kids, drunk. I assume they're drunk. Slingshotting each other, meaning they're grabbing one guy by the arm and slinging him. And he's knocking down people like bowling pins. And they're not doing anything. People are just getting scared. There's not a panic. It's getting weird. So when I saw that, I had, now you gotta understand, I have, I'm King Michael, and I have this click mode that happens sometimes, which is unfortunate, but this is one of those times. I remember thinking, don't come into me. Like, please, whatever you do, just stay away from me, and just that's it. That's it. That's all I wanted. Standing there. Not a word of this is a lie. Standing there, move up a couple more feet. I can see the escalator maybe about 10 feet. I don't know, 15. And then all of a sudden, I just saw this redheaded kid with a redheaded beard, a ginger, just like Bill, come flying past my back and take out the woman to my extreme left. But she was like here. So in my head, if I was with wife or kids, they would have been right here on my side, and this guy would have taken them out. So the redheaded kid gets whipped into the woman behind me, and she goes pinging into her husband. He stops. Like, when he hit her, it was weird. Like, this is what made me feel like this was even worse, because they didn't whip him and he didn't just go all the way through. He caught her with his shoulder and did a dead stop. So he did a dead stop right here. I was right there. I am not proud of what I'm about to say. I'm lucky that I got away with it. I'm lucky that everybody involved let it go. I'm very lucky that people that run Boston Garden let it go. But so when the redheaded ginger took out the woman to my left, my immediate reaction was I turned and threw an uppercut, and I kept it close to my body and went straight up. Now, two things. One, I've been watching so many videos that, I heard somewhere in a crowded fight, don't throw a hook or don't, keep your hands where they can't see your hands in the crowd. So an uppercut is just me coming up. It's not you. His friends can't see this. Here's where I enjoyed it. I caught him as flush as I'll ever catch anyone. I swear. I mean, I must have had his full chin right here. I turned, I threw an uppercut. I know his head went back and he went back. But here's where it got scary. When he fell and the woman fell, everybody fell. I don't just mean where they were, I mean even on the side of me. I've never seen people collapse. They fell down. Like a good amount of people fell. And I know he had a ton of friends, so it was like I threw the punch, I turned, everybody fell, and then I'm not proud of what happened next. I stepped on a man's back, onto a woman, down the escalator, straight out of the building. It was literally out of an action movie. I didn't think I could pull it off, but I did. When I stood on top of the guy's back with my left foot, my thought was, basketball move, I'm just going to spring to my right foot. When I hit that, whoever I hit next to that woman, right foot spring, bang, I'm out. And it actually worked. I think it worked because they were just laying, like, ding, dong, ding, gone. Go down the stairs, I go out the door, right? Still the Bill Burr show, yeah, whatever. Walking back, now I got to deal with the car accident. I'm like out of my mind because I don't know how anybody else is. If you ever get into physical altercation, and I advise you never to get into physical altercation, what I did was completely stupid and completely irrational and could have caused a lot of problems. It really could have. And I could have, and I might have really hurt the ginger. But so I get back, and now I see college girl, her friend, 3 college guys, all standing around the car. So, hold on, sponsor break. So, I come back, I say, hey, yeah, I'm sorry, I bumped into your car. Don't worry about it, my insurance will cover it. Here's my phone number, here's my thing. And I remember she said to me, do you have your insurance card on you? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. It was just because it was literally a new car and I did not have it with me. But I gave her my phone number, made her call me. I gave her my name. I gave her my license number. Like I was gonna take care of this. I didn't have the insurance card on me. I knew I made a mistake. So I was apologizing. I was, I was trying to be as nice as I could be so I could just get out of here and drive home. So at one point, she seemed okay with it. And then this like 5'4" Birkenstock type kid comes walking up to me and he says, you don't have your insurance on you? And I'm like, no, you didn't hear the exchange we just had, like the whole 5 minutes talking about it? He goes, don't you keep it in your glove compartment? I said, yeah, if I was going to have it on me, I might keep it in the glove compartment. That's one of the places I might keep it. But, if you don't have it, you can't put it there, can you? Then he says, why don't we look inside the glove compartment? Maybe you made a mistake. Now, I want you guys to run back what just happened to me. It stopped from the ginger getting plowed into the person next to me going down the escalator over people's backs before previously knocking him out cold, going down the escalator, getting out here, dealing with this. And now he says to me, why don't we look in the glove compartment? Maybe you forgot it was in there. And I said to him, maybe you forgot who you're talking to right now, okay? Maybe you forgot what's about to happen if you don't shut your mouth. Maybe you forgot what it's like to get punched in the face. Now, I'm not a tough guy, and I really, that's not something I would advise anybody saying. I didn't mean to say it. It was building. It was just so much. And then for him to, I'm almost done. And then for this kid to come out of nowhere, and I know I'm rambling, but this is our channel. This is us. I know I'm rambling, but I've always had a reverse like bullying type thing. Like in other words, I'm about 6 feet, a little bit over. Right now, I'm about 190. Around there. Anybody bigger than me, I don't have an issue with. That's the ones that I'm in my mind ready to fight. But when it sounds like 5'2", 5'3", I actually kind of get bullied because I don't know what the proper reaction would be. This goes way back. I remember when I was much younger, and I was at a bar, and this little guy came over and was calling me Zoolander. Now, you can't tell now with the beard, but if I shaved and you saw my hair styled black with my eyes and the face and the shirt I was wearing, I get where he was coming from. And I actually kind of laughed about it, but he wouldn't stop. So then I called him Danny DeVito. So next thing he said was, I didn't say a word. He came up to me and said, say another word, I'm going to punch you in the face. And my thought was, what do I do? If I punch this kid and knock him out cold, I look like such a jerk and there's going to be a brawl. However, if I let this kid hit me and he knocks me out, then it's even worse. And the thing is, it doesn't matter how short he is, if I get him the first punch clean, if you give anybody who knows how to throw a punch, I don't know if he can throw a punch, what if he can? Anybody who can throw an actual punch, if you give them one clean punch where they're not blocking, their chances of winning that fight go up exponentially. Okay, that's the word for the day. It goes up exponentially. So I ended up not punching that kid in the bar. His friend came over and apologized and took the little guy away. However, now back to the parking lot. After I said all this stuff to the kid, about punching him in the face, he stared at me and he said back, "Oh, so you're like a real Italian tough guy, huh?" Now, I know this story is like going on for a long time, but it's true, and his might as well tell it for the first time. Call me an Italian tough guy. Now, I know he's saying this because one, yeah, I do look Italian because I'm 100% Italian. I am Italian. And two, I know that when I start to talk angry, I definitely get more Italian. I can't explain it. I'll just use more Italian phrases. My hands go flying. My vocabulary worsens. I do not pronounce R's like car. It's car. That's Boston, but it still happens when you get angry being Italian. So he called me an Italian tough guy. And I said, yep, that's exactly what I am. Would you like to find out? And a couple more words were exchanged. The girl kind of broke us up, and then they left. And then before I was leaving, the guy owning the car lot, who I thought was a jerk in the whole place, he didn't help at all. He's the one who helped me crash it. He said to me, "That was some of the funniest shit I have ever heard." I go, "What was?" He goes, "What you said to that kid." He goes, "You sounded like Steven Seagal out of a movie." I can't think of a worse insult in my entire life. I'm like, dude, just shut up. Like, just shut up. And he was laughing, but I'm still like, just shut up. Like, just shut up. I'm leaving. That was my Bill Burr story. It was a rough night. However, you're the #1 comedian, and that's true. So, guys, I know I just went on a long rant, but you finally get to hear a story that I've never really told. Not proud of it, but I am proud of how good I landed that one shot. I'm not gonna lie. The feeling when it was so clean and crisp, and it was exact and perfect as far as I was concerned, because it was so tight and in here, and I threw it with so much force. I tell you, I'll always remember that punch. I know that sounds awful, but it was just a moment in my life that I was like, wow. That whole incident was like, I'm really capable of that. Like, you're scared for your life and shit like that. You're capable of anything. Top 10 comedians are Joe Rogan, Jerry Gervais, Bert Kreischer, Daniel Tosh, Anthony Jeselnik, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, and Bill Burr. This was the top 10 comedians working today by LegitFantasyFootball.com. Guys, stay tuned. We always have a live show on Thursdays from 7 to 8 and Sundays from 11 to 12. And we will be broadcasting live shots like this on a daily basis. Look for more top 10 lists. Check us out at legitfantasyfootball.com. It's me, it's Mike Lepre, King Michael. Thank you for watching. Go Big Blue.